This is TWiT.
I am super excited to talk to Trisha Hershberger. She is an expert Twitch live streamer, expert YouTube live streamer, just an expert all around. She also does produced work. And I spoke to her on triangulation for a long time, but I called on her to get her expert tips on how to stream yourself. Trisha Hershberger, it's nice to talk to you again.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here again. It's been too long.
It has been too long. I think I didn't even mention that you were a gamer, which is part of what you stream. So tell us a little bit about if someone thinks, oh, you know what, I love watching people live stream on Twitch. I want to do that. What advice do you have for those people?
This is actually my favorite question that I get from viewers because it's so much easier to start streaming than people think it is. And I'm in full support of anything that enables people to take something that they're passionate about and only thought of as a hobby and make that into their career or something they can bring in a viable source of income. So streaming can be done and very easily. I always talk to people usually about getting into it from a PC streaming setup where you are playing game and streaming from one PC, which is very taxing on your PC depending what type of game you play. But if you like to focus on indie games or retro games, or if you're streaming from a console where it gets sticky is because your PC is both running your game and encoding and broadcasting your stream at the same time. And that's a lot of heavy lifting. But if your game isn't so taxing, or your game is being run on, say, a console and then your PC is just broadcasting, this you can do from I would say $500 to $550 PC range, which everyone's like, what? That's crazy. I even know some people that got started streaming on a laptop using the laptop webcam. And the company Razer, if you're familiar with Razer, makes some really great entry-level broadcasting and streaming devices right now. They have a webcam that has lighting incorporated. So rather than purchasing a separate webcam, a separate lighting kit, and setting that all up in a studio, you can get started fairly easily. They also make a really nice USB condenser mic specifically for the type of audio that you're going to be looking for from a stream. Or I always recommend people do exactly what I'm doing right now. Have a headset that has a microphone and use that as your early audio setup. That's totally fine. And the software that you would need to stream, say if you're going to use OBS or XSplit or something like that, there are free versions of both of those. You can play around with them. There's tons of tutorials online on how to get started with those. I have a tutorial on XSplit on my channel. And yeah, the entry point is very low. Now, granted, it takes a while to really get your groove, but you can get started and play around and see what's fun to you.
So do you have lighting? We spoke a little bit earlier on the show about lighting. Do you have special lighting, or is that just you?
So I do. I have lighting. So you'll see I've got this little wonky flap over here, shade covering my window, because as much as I would love to use natural lighting, sometimes I stream when it's dark outside, or sometimes the light coming in from the side of my studio is too harsh, and then one half of my face is completely lit and the other half is shadow. And while that makes for, a very edgy ambiance, that's not always what I'm going for. I have a very simple softbox lighting kit that I got off of Amazon, and it comes with 3 C-stands to set up 3 different softboxes. And now, if I wanted to be super pro, I would have used the third one for a backlight. I personally don't do that. I have one on each side here, kind of like my main light and my key light coming from my key light, my side light coming in from 2 different angles. But I find that the soft lighting, it doesn't give me those harsh angles. And then if you get daylight bulbs, your color balance is correct. Now, it gets a little stickier when you're using incandescent bulbs or combining different types of light and they're coming from different angles. And it's really just trial and error. I think when I first started out, I put my computer monitor and webcam right in front of a big window and only streamed during the day and just used natural light. And that worked fine. So again, you can get started from a very, very easy, just playing around entry point. But if you were looking specifically for what I use, you can go on Amazon and just search for Softbox Lighting Kit and a bunch of stuff will come up.
So I know you stream on YouTube and Twitch and even sometimes on Twitter, on Periscope. Which is your favorite place to stream and why is that?
I personally prefer Twitch. I'm a big video game player, have been for a long time. And so I find that a lot of people that are viewers on Twitch and content consumers are somewhat like-minded to me and share a lot of the same interests and passions that I do. And the community on Twitch in general is just the loveliest people. I find on YouTube, especially when YouTube gaming first launched, there was a battle to deal with toxicity that can often come in the gaming community. Whereas on Twitch, it's a little bit easier to surround yourself with people who are supportive and just enjoy all different types of content. So for me, Twitch is my favorite because I really feel that communal aspect to streaming, and that's what differentiates streaming from just playing a game by yourself. You know, if we think back to when we were kids and we could sit on a couch next to our buddies and invite over the kids from the neighborhood to play video games together, to me, that's what Twitch now provides in the digital age, and that's really, really cool.
And what about Facebook? I know they're moving into this sort of realm. Have you gotten involved in streaming on Facebook at all?
I have not yet streamed on Facebook. However, I have close friends and colleagues who do, and they're having a good time with it. It's still in that very early trial of how do we moderate our community? How do we build an audience? What's it look like when people just get to Facebook and say, hey, I want to watch gaming content? What's that front page look like? How can they discover new creators? All of that is still being ironed out. And I think every platform has to come to that in their own way. But there's certainly so many more eyeballs on Facebook in general than there are on, say, a platform like Twitch, that I think the possibility is really huge there. I mean, let's bring people who aren't even necessarily seeking out gaming content into the fold.
Mm-hmm. And so how do you build an audience, whether on all the different platforms? What are some tips for people who, you know, they've gotten all the equipment and they're there and they're just talking to no one? What kind of advice do you give them?
I always say this, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, gaming content, any kind of content, whatever you're doing, you got to be you. I believe that the internet has made this very big difference from traditional media. And by traditional media, I mean television and film, where we're used to seeing people play a character, be something other than what they are. And in the digital age, we want to see the truth. So I feel like some people compare it to reality TV, but it's so much further than that. People are connecting as if on a face-to-face level, just digitally. And when you're connecting with someone face-to-face, if they're being false, that's very easy to read. And it's the same thing on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Instagram live stories, whatever it is. So find who you are and what you feel like you want to share with people, and just do that. The community will come. Like-minded people will gravitate towards you. And so, you know, a lot of people think of, how am I going to brand myself? And that's certainly an important question too. But that comes after, who am I? What is the story I want to tell? What type of content do I want to create? And then I think of, okay, now that I know what that is, let's kind of mold that into either a specific character or a specific show. But most people, what you see of them digitally might just be an enhanced version of who they are in real life. That's what I find, at least. And when you're thinking about that and you're branding and you've kind of made it to that next step, who's the audience you want to cultivate? Who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to hang out with? You know, the audience who, say, is hanging out at a channel like Fail Army is going to be very different than the audience who's hanging out for a really long D&D session, say, at a Critical Role. And which of those audiences do you want to create? And it's better when you're thinking strategy not to combine different types of people too much, because then when people come to your channel, they'll be confused as to what they're going to get. But ultimately, the rule of thumb is if you're just very true inherently to who you are, that will come naturally.
Okay, so I know people have probably heard of you, That Girl Trish on Twitter, but for people that are really excited about listening to you and want to see all the places where they can find you, where's the best place for them to go and find you?
You are so kind. People can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat at That Girl Trish with no I in the girl, so just that GRL Trish, or on YouTube or Twitch /Trisha Hershberger, and my last name is spelled just like it sounds, HERSHBERGER. No extra letters added in there or anything like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Trisha. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon, and keep in touch. I can't wait till your child starts playing video games.
I know, I can't wait too. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Have a great day.
Take care.